Hey guys, really quick before this video starts, I just wanted to go over something really quick. This video is my first attempt at doing some kind of like show review series, like show movie review, something like that. And we kind of went into it like last minute. Didn't have any like really notes prepared or kind of any guidelines to follow, anything like that. So it seems kind of wacky and all over the place. And we kind of jump around from topic to topic without really kind of finishing what we were talking about. But I mean, it's our thoughts nonetheless. Obviously the recording's done already, so we kind of can't go back and fix it, but the next one I promise will be much more put together. I just figured I'd make this little part after reviewing it, just to let you guys know not to kill me too bad in the comments. Anyway, if you have any suggestions, anything I missed, anything like that, leave it down in the comments below, and I hope you enjoy the video. YouTube, what's going on? It's Big Dirty back again with another video for you. And today I have a special video going on for you. Today we're going to talk about kind of our review and our thoughts on WandaVision. And I say we because I am not alone today. For the first time, I have a very special guest, a member of my family all the way down in Florida. She's my cousin, not my favorite, but my cousin, maybe my favorite. She's cracking up. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Gabby. Yay, Gabby!
Yay.
So, WandaVision, did you watch the whole thing?
I did.
What'd you think?
I really liked it. It was a little confusing in the beginning because you know how they go from black and white, then they change and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that threw me off in the beginning, so I don't know if I like it or not. But I ended up liking it.
Right. So, I think that's a good point to start on. A lot of people were really turned off by that. The first 2 or 3 episodes were very sitcom-y.
Yeah. I liked it like that though.
You did?
Yeah.
Like even the black and gray stuff, like the throwbacks, like I Love Lucy and all that stuff.
Yeah, because I like I Love Lucy.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, so like kind of looking at it from both sides. I watched it with a couple of my friends, you know, that were didn't care for it as much, or they were either way. I'd say I enjoyed it from like just an entertainment standpoint, just because like let me be careful with that. So the first one, like I never really watched those old shows like I Love Lucy and Bewitched and all those.
Yeah.
So it was like, it's cheesy, but you know it's cheesy, so I kind of was okay with it. But like you said, the first few episodes I didn't really get too much because I was hoping the entire series wasn't going to be like that, because that would have been awful.
Yeah, I thought it was just because of how it started off, so it kind of threw me off. I wasn't understanding how, like, where they were going with everything. But then it started like easing up after like the first couple of episodes.
Right, yeah.
Then it got better.
Yeah, so back in episode 1 there was that moment with when they had the boss and his wife over for dinner.
Yeah.
And he was like choking.
Yeah.
And she was just kept repeating, "Stop it." And that was pretty weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
That creeped me out a little bit. Now that when I went back and saw the episode a second time, it wasn't as creepy. But when I first watched it, I was like, "Whoa, like what's going on over there?"
I know. It was so weird.
And I thought that going into the next few episodes that's where it was gonna start like taking off and get like kind of weirder. And
yeah.
But it like reset each episode, so I don't know. And then
I was iffy about starting the series. So I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it. But then after the first 2 episodes, I was like, I like the black and white, but it's kind of throwing me off. I don't know if I want to keep watching.
Right.
But then it turned into color.
Right, which I think is everybody's point. If the entire thing had been black and white, that show probably would have done horribly.
They're not even renewing it for season 2, are they?
No, it was only meant to be the one season, which is I get it. What it turned out to be, in my opinion, is like just like a Wanda origin.
Yeah.
That was their way of officially introducing the Scarlet Witch into the MCU, because before that they refused to use that name, the Scarlet Witch. It's just been Wanda Maximoff. Yeah, it just kind of gave her background, her origin, which I liked. And the sitcom thing, they ended up, I think it was episode 4 or 5, kind of showing that was like her happy place as a kid, so that's why.
Yeah, that's what I was confused on why they were doing that, but then as the episodes went on, I was like, oh, I understand why it was a sitcom the whole time.
Right. I'll just get it out of the way now. Do I think they needed 9 episodes to explain that? I don't think so.
No.
But I mean, I don't know how TV in Hollywood works. I'm assuming when you're signed on for a season of something, you know, maybe it's up to the network how long they want it to be. I'm also a huge fan of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and those movies didn't need to be 3 movies each. So, you know.
I've never seen any of those.
You what? Oh my God. Had I known that, I would have never invited you here. This video would never be happening.
At least I've watched all the Marvel movies.
Yeah, well, don't try and save yourself now. These were out way before Iron Man was a thing.
Let's talk about Agnes, though.
All right.
When I first started watching it, I thought she was just like I'm kind of confused with that because like I have no idea where she came from, you know?
Right. So Agatha Harkness, and this isn't all my own expertise, by the way. You know, when I don't know who characters are, I reference there's a channel called Comics Explained. His name's Rob. He retains comic info like you wouldn't believe, and he's like a die-hard comic. He can name you comic runs that nobody ever knows about, and it's incredible. So she came from the comics then? Yeah, so she's a character that shows up very seldomly. She was in a small part of a I want to say it was either Avengers or Thor maybe back in the 70s, but she is essentially a being that's thousands and thousands of years old, but she takes the form of an old lady just so you know that it's like a typical witch thing to do. I mean, Agatha's a witch that kind of, I wouldn't say taught Wanda how to use her power, because that's Doctor Strange. In the comics, Doctor Strange is more her mentor. Yeah. But I mean, Agatha kind of tells her, you know, what she is. It's because in the comics, it's because of Agatha that her and Vision are able to have children. I didn't know that. Yeah, I don't know the exact. So you see, that's another thing. If you're comparing like comics to the series, her children in the comic books are shards of a character called Mephisto, which is basically he's essentially like the Marvel version of the devil. But you know, she doesn't really have like an origin or like a who is she. So she's one of those characters you can kind of pop in the MCU or like the show and not need to worry about it matching necessarily, but just as long as she's with the character she's supposed to be. Like if she had popped up in Iron Man 2, you'd be like, what? You know? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I liked her as a character, and that actress is I think played her perfectly. Yeah. She was kind of that annoying character throughout the series until they finally revealed her, but like every time she spoke, you were like, what? Will you shut up? You know?
But the thing is, like, where did she get the black hold from? Like, where? The Dark Hold? How did she?
I don't think I know how she got. The best I can reference as far as the MCU, I think in Doctor Strange there was a book that was missing from like the Sanctuary.
I noticed that there was a book.
Right, there was a book.
I went back and watched Doctor Strange after this. I watched his movie, like I watched it like one time. Okay. And like most movies I watch more than once, but his I only watched once. So then I was like, wait a second, like I gotta catch up, like I gotta understand this more. So when I went back and watched it, there is a missing book. Okay, so I think maybe that's probably where that came from. Yeah, because the whole time I was like, I think he's gonna come into the series, like he's gonna come back for the book.
Yeah, I was honestly expecting him to come into the series as well.
He never showed up.
Son of a bitch. He was getting that tuna melt for freaking Wong. So yeah, that's got to be where the Darkhold came from. I don't know how Agatha got possession of it, but
no one will know. We'll never know.
Yeah, the world may never know. But yeah, Agatha was cool, and now she's stuck in New Jersey. Yep. So if Wanda ever needs anything. I don't know if they'll come back to her. I think that was in my opinion, that's a good way to send off and be done with that character.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, trap her forever in a reality she doesn't know exists.
I really want to talk about not so much Wanda, because it's pretty like to the point of like who she is and everything through the show.
Yeah, I think I maybe just touch on her. I'll give my opinion on her at the end. You know, everybody knows who she is.
Exactly.
Everybody that has followed the movies and whatnot so far, and if you don't, the show did a pretty good job of explaining who she is.
I really want to talk about Monica though.
Monica Rambeau.
Yes, Monica Rambeau. So in the beginning, I just thought she was just a character. Throughout the series, I thought she was a regular character, and then like her eyes started turning different colors while she was trying to go through the Force.
Through the hex, yep.
Yeah, through the hex.
Don't say Force. All the Star Wars nerds will go nuts.
I know. Her character kind of confused me because I thought she was just a regular character, like a regular agent or whatever.
Right.
And then as she kept going through and as she was like in the sitcom with them, like her character changed. So it's like, who is she? She's from Captain Marvel, isn't she? Like I think I remember seeing her.
So she's I don't know much. I haven't watched too many videos about her. I haven't brushed up on info about her, but from what I understand in the comic books, she's another like really powerful character. Like she's like nuts. Like
because she looks powerful as the series went on.
She can manipulate like energy at its like truest form. So like as long as she knows what kind of energy is and like understand where it comes from, she can manipulate it. So anything you could think of, because in comics it's pretty like a literal transition. So almost everything's made of energy. The light, the sun, the fire. So almost anything you throw at her, if she understands it, she's going to be able to use it against you. So she's almost like almost God tier. You know what I mean? And then, a lot of people, there's people that don't like when you say that, but it's honestly true because she's nuts. So I don't think she'll be quite literally that powerful in the show. I mean, she'll probably rival Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel was pretty nuts. You know what I mean? But again,
she's nuts.
But again, she's a character in the comics as well that's just kind of just as crazy. I don't know them 100%, but everything I've watched on them, just tells me that they deserve to be powerful. And it's new for people kind of seeing like your traditional heroes, Iron Man, Thor, and all them. Yeah. And then being introduced to characters you have no idea about, and they've got all this power, and you're like, what? Like, that doesn't make sense. So
that's exactly how I feel.
like which I get. There's a lot of fans that do that. A lot of people have problems with power scaling in these shows and movies, and I, for one, really don't. So like, unless it's blatant, I don't. I don't pay attention to it. And then power scaling, what I mean by that is, how can this person beat that person, basically? Yeah. So like another example. So we'll get into in a minute, but with the White Vision, when him and Vision were going at it in the last episode, there was a lot of, well, how can Vision do that when the regular Vision has the Mind Stone? It's an Infinity Stone versus whatever White Vision is using to coming out of his head. I get those arguments, but I don't let that make or break a movie for me. But as far as Spectrum, I think that's what her name is going to be in this in the series, Spectrum. I believe she's coming back in Captain Marvel 2. Yeah,
that's what I think. I was reading ahead of like who she is and all that kind of stuff. So I think she will, just because of in the ending where the agent brought her into the theater.
Right, the scroll.
Yeah, and then they said that someone wanted to speak to her, and then it just ended like that. So
I'm pretty sure they're talking about Nick Fury. So
that's where I was confused,
because he said a friend of your mother's wants to see you. I think it's a reference to the Captain Marvel movie, like to who her mom was. They didn't go nuts with her. They didn't have her like start destroying crap
Yeah,
in the show, which was all right. But she was able to, you know, make her protect herself a little bit against Wanda. So I mean, it just kind of showed she was a character and she had some power. And again, that was good enough for me.
Yeah, that shocked me. I was like, who is she?
Right.
But now we're gonna find out more.
That's it.
Vision and White Vision. I was pretty caught up on like the vision that they were showing us about like who he is and everything, because at first I was like, no, this is not really him because he died, like his Infinity Stone was pulled out of his head.
Yep.
And all that. But then when they started showing White Vision, I was confused because I was like, wait a second, like I know that the government people like built him and everything because he was in different pieces and they like put him together.
Right.
But then it was just like, how is he getting all these memories back? Like all he had to do was just push like his blue stone and then like all his memories started coming back. So then that's where it got me. I was like, how is that even like a thing? Like how is he remembering everything because he has no part of the Mind Stone like inside of him or anything?
Right. So my take on that is, so the original Vision we all know is dead. I'm glad they didn't bring him back in some crazy way, because he can't. Not only did the Mind Stone get ripped out of his head, but in Endgame you find out, you know, Thanos destroyed the Infinity Stones.
Exactly.
As far as I'm concerned, from that same timeline. Now I know they went back in time and got all the stones again, but you know they got the stone out of Loki's scepter before Vision was even created.
Yeah.
So you know there in my opinion there couldn't be a second true Vision. Or you know, in this MCU, it's shown in episode 4 or 5 when they show her being a kid. You know, she has that deal, that run-in with the scepter, it starts flowing and it shows her the Scarlet Witch, you know?
Yeah.
So that, I guess, gave her like a piece of the Mind Stone's power or whatever like that. So she's always got a piece of it with her.
Yeah.
Which I think...
That's where I caught up on, because that's how I realized that's how she made him. Right. So in the reality.
Right. So that, for me, that kind of is like, okay, it makes sense. Like going back to the movies Ultron, where how she's able to screw with people's minds and, you know, kind of take control of their minds and everything, because she's got power of the Mind Stone, which obviously gives you control of the mind. But then she's also, you know, she's also a witch, so she can use her witchcraft at the same time and make you see these dark, nasty things. So that makes sense to me, how she was able to create that vision. In her reality, you know, it was her chaos magic or her hex probability, and the piece of the Mind Stone to bring him back to life. Because that refers to the comics and what Agatha said in the later episodes, that the Scarlet Witch has the power to basically create life at will.
Exactly.
But it can only, so getting back to Vision, he's not, in my opinion, he's not a true Vision because he can't exist outside of the hex. We saw that multiple times. When it's either opened or when he tries to escape it, he starts to die.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess in the hex, he's probably as powerful as the original Vision was. I don't know how that works because it's not the actual Mind Stone. It's, you know what I mean? That's, if people want to pick that apart, fine. I mean, but I mean, I'm not gonna dive too much into that. I would just say inside of the hex where he's strongest, I think he would be, you know, I don't see it being a problem if he was as strong as the original Vision was. And then as far as the White Vision, in a sense, I think he'd be able to go toe to toe with Vision in that hex because he exists in the real world, right? Yeah. So the government took Vision's body and created this white one. I don't know what they used to turn it on. I don't know what that blue thing was.
Well, the only thing that came to my mind, like when it turned blue, like I was like, are they using like the Tesseract?
Right. Imagine if they'd have done that, I'd have been like, oh boy.
Yeah,
But
that's the only thing that came to my mind. Like, it's probably not that, obviously.
no, I
just,
think just because it's blue, you know,
blue,
you're right.
That's what came to my mind.
Yeah, it makes sense. You know, people look for like colors to match up with the stones and stuff.
Yeah.
That's why, you know, I kept having to correct myself because I was saying Wanda's power came from the reality stone just because her magic is red, but that's not true.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, white vision exists outside of the hex and in the hex. So I guess in my eyes, that's why he can go toe to toe with him in the, you know, because that's where a lot of the argument that I've seen was coming from. How can he go up against an infinity stone and blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
So again, if you want to pick it apart at that, you know, by all means, everybody's entitled to think what they want, but you know, it was fine for me. White Vision himself, I think that's kind of to the comics, you know, the government created Vision, the White Vision, to kind of have their own version of the Vision.
Yeah.
And I think the same kind of thing happened. He was shown memories from the original Vision or by one of the Avengers in the comics, and now he's, you know, he's Vision, but just without the Infinity Stone, and I don't think he's, you know, in love with Wanda at the same. I don't know how that story goes.
We don't know yet.
Right.
It was just crazy because like how his eyes were blue, and then he just touched his stone and he just turned like into like a normal person, like they were in sync. So it's like, where did he go? Like, where is he gonna be coming back? Like, we don't know.
I think that's kind of like the typical film thing, to have a character just kind of fly off to God knows where and then come back at some point.
Yeah, at least it's at the end of our seats. Like, where's he coming? Where's he going?
Right. So I think Vision is, I think the White Vision in that regards, I think obviously he'll be coming back. He'll be part of the new Avengers or however they shape that out to be. But I don't think he'll be emotionally attached to Wanda. So
yeah, I don't think so.
So if at some point they do have to face off against Wanda, I don't think he'll have a hard time. You know what I mean?
He tried crushing her skull. So.
Right, well, that's before Vision showed him all the memories of the Avengers and stuff. So yeah, he was about to end Wanda right there. Again, Vision was another character I didn't care for. There's a lot of there's a lot of main characters I really don't care for. Like, I'm not emotionally connected to Black Widow like a lot of people are. Really, her movie coming up, I'll go see it. You know, I wasn't crazy upset when she died. You know, I like characters, you know, superhero type characters, like with powers you can't explain, or some kind of great physical or like, you know, extraordinary ability.
Yeah.
She's basically just a spy. Very good one, very kick ass. But, you know, she's one of those characters that's kind of for me.
I know, every time we have to go see those movies, you just were like, about her.
Everybody's sniffling and stuff when she's dying. I was like, yeah, come on, let's get to that.
Well, the same thing with Captain America. You don't care for him either. He's my favorite.
Yeah, let's not. Yeah, him and Superman don't really do it for me. They're almost like that sports team that everybody loves, that it's so annoying that you have to I think that's what it is. I think it's like a bandwagon thing. I don't care for Captain America, you know what I mean?
So I want to talk about Darcy though. Okay, so when she came in, when they first showed her, I picked up on it because she looked very familiar. I was like, wait a second, isn't she from Thor? Like, she was with Jane. So it got me thinking, like, is Thor about to come into the series?
No.
But no, I dropped that theory fast.
Yeah.
But...
Oh my god, you're about to get me kicked off of YouTube with theories like that.
About her sons, we're gonna jump right back into Wanda because that's all I had on her. So with Wanda, I picked up that her powers are very similar to Doctor Strange because they can do kind of the same things. Like, especially like in the ending credit scene where she was like out of her body. Doctor Strange can do that too.
Astral projection, yes.
Yeah, so then I was like, that's when I picked up on the theory, like, is he about to come into the show because, like, the book is gone, is he gonna come back and get it? But then their powers are similar, so I feel like she's gonna make an appearance, like, in Doctor Strange too.
So, well, I'm glad you brought that up, because it's a very cool, like, I love magic. Magic is one of the coolest things ever, no matter what universe it's in. Like actual magic, not like pulling bunnies out of hats and things like that. Kind of dive into like comic related stuff, like origin stuff. So Doctor Strange, his power is or can be limited to whoever lends it to him, at least in the comics. I don't know if I can't recall. I'd have to watch the movie again to see if it's the same thing.
About what?
Like how he uses his powers, because the only thing I can remember in the movie are the sling rings, the little rings he has to put on his hands to.
Yeah. Well.
And obviously the Eye of Agamotto, but that doesn't exist anymore because the time stone's gone.
Yeah. So, but I just recently rewatched his movie, so I know that they were like training him to use all that kind of stuff. And obviously he had the Infinity Stone with him. I don't think he needed anything else for him to be able to use his powers. I think like it solely just went to when he picked up the Infinity Stone, he learned how to use all that. So basically having that around his neck probably helped him. Well,
that's how he can control time.
Yeah.
And everything like that. I know in the comics, he uses I forget what kind of magic it's called. There's a few different types of magic, but basically in the comics he gets his powers from 3 like very powerful magical beings in another universe. The leader of them, I think the leader of them is Vishanti is his name. So, but like I said, it's limited to how much they allow Doctor Strange to use. So if for example, and I get this from that guy Comics Explained I was telling you about, if every magical being in the universe were to lend Doctor Strange 100% of their magical ability, he would basically be a god. He'd be unstoppable.
Yeah.
But if everybody was just like, you can use 1% of my magical abilities, he's only limited to what that is. Whereas the Scarlet Witch, she gets her power from Chthon. Chthon is a very old magical being that escaped to another dimension. And I think in the comics, there was like a prophecy that somebody would be born that would be like a second coming of him, basically. Yeah. And that's the Scarlet Witch. So it's like so her power is almost unlimited.
Yeah, she's insane.
Yeah, like quite literally, like, she does like insane stuff in the comics. There's a, probably the most famous one that's more recent is the House of M, when she does the same thing. She creates her own reality, has kids and a family, and Professor X strolls in and is like, Wanda, you got to cut the shit out. And she goes nuts, and kids start melting in her hand and stuff. Like, it's nuts. And in that comic, Magneto kills Quicksilver.
Yeah.
And Quicksilver's her brother. So Magneto kills Quicksilver, and the only thing she does is she says no more mutants, and she wipes out almost the entire existence of mutants everywhere, which is crazy. But
I'm gonna have to go back into the comics.
You have to. I'll send you links of videos of this guy talking about comics, and it's so crazy as to what she can do. So yeah, anyway, going back into where they get their powers. Their powers are very similar because she's a witch and he's a sorcerer. Yeah. They use the same kind of things. He's much more experienced and much wiser than she is. Yeah. But, like, talking like on a raw power level, both comics and movies, I think she'd be unstoppable if they let her do that.
Yeah, because she was basically saying like she didn't know what her powers were like in the end. Right. So she's trying to figure it out.
I'm pretty sure
I feel like that's where he's gonna come in.
Right, and kind of maybe that's what Multiverse of Madness is gonna be, him like showing her like, this is what all these powers can do. And
Yeah.
they might, I'm just going to go ahead and guess that they might take that traditional path of maybe she uses her powers, like, you know, starts getting into black magic a little bit. And Doctor Strange is like, oh, like, relax, you know, but you know, honestly, if she wants, he wouldn't be able to stop her if she really wanted to. But, well, I think that's where Mephisto's going to come in.
Yeah.
Because remember you can hear her kids like at the end.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
And so that's where I think they're gonna keep that hold to Mephisto. He's gonna convince her that, you know, she can have that life she wants with kids and be married and all that. Start getting into dark magic, and maybe Mephisto will be the villain that way. That's just a theory of mine.
So talking about her kids are actually real, right? They're not just made up from her sitcom or like anything like that.
I don't think they showed that, because when she closed the hex, you get that scene of her closing the door, but you never saw the kids go back to normal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because Vision obviously disappeared when the hex went over like the house and everything, but no one saw what happened to them. So it's like,
right, I think that was a good job by Marvel, how they did that. They kind of put that in the emotional moment where she said her last goodbye to Vision, so everybody was kind of focused on that.
Yeah.
But like I said, you didn't see her children return to normal townspeople.
Exactly.
And there was that lady, I think, in the beginning of episode 9 that was like, how are your boys? You know, my kids can play with your boys if you want, or something like that.
Yeah, so that made me feel like they really are real. We just
But that's the thing. I don't think they're real.
You don't think that they're real?
No, she either created them, or they're gonna tie that into the comic books, and they're gonna be shards of Mephisto. I guess we'll have to wait till next year to find out, because that's when that movie doesn't come out till 2022.
It's a long time.
It's a very long time.
So long.
Yeah.
Wait so long.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna have to rewatch the whole season again just to remember what happens before the movie comes out.
No, absolutely, and maybe we'll do a video series on that before the movie comes out. We'll watch each episode and kind of recap everything, and then we'll do like a movie review and stuff.
Yeah, but they gave me like kind of Thanos vibes, like where she was staying, like in not like just like the house that she was staying in, where she vanished off to.
Oh, at the end?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where she is. No one knows, but it just gave me like kind of Thanos vibes.
I get that.
Her little house.
Yep, yeah. After the snap, he kind of went to his own little farm. I get that.
Yeah.
It was kind of the same thing.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and there was a couple ideas I saw that she could have created her own world out there and not hurt anybody.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, I don't know how some of that's writing, and you can't help what the creators want to do. How about her costume, huh? I thought it looked awesome.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. I liked it a lot.
Not as risque as the comic books, but I mean, yeah, I thought the costume looked excellent. It wasn't too much. It wasn't altered crazily. I thought it looked good.
It looked nice. They made her look good.
Absolutely. Let's kind of recap everything. So, all in all, with all that stuff being said, did you enjoy the series?
Oh, I loved it.
You loved it?
I loved it a lot.
That's good. Did you actually love it, or just because it's Marvel?
Well, I actually loved it. Like,
no. It's not the question. I'm not picking on you, because there's.
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot of like people that anything Marvel, they'll just yeah.
Yeah. No, I actually really enjoyed it, like, because in the beginning, I'm not gonna lie, like, I was really iffy, like, if I'm gonna keep watching it, just because of, like, I do like the black and white stuff, like I said, but it was like more of like I'm not understanding where they're going with it, so like it got kind of boring in the beginning. So I was like, I don't know if I want to continue watching it, but I'm like, no, let me just keep watching to see what's gonna happen. But it ended up really being a really good series.
Yep, absolutely. Me myself, I give it a thumbs up. Was it perfect? Absolutely not. Was it garbage? Absolutely not. There was things that didn't need to be there. There was, some things they could have dragged out less. But, there's been worse things produced out there, honestly. There's been a lot worse. I did enjoy it. I think it makes sense in the MCU. I think it was a nice little origin story for, what's going on with Wanda.
Yeah.
I think it's cool now that they're doing that. Maybe they're obviously going to do the same thing with Falcon and Winter Soldier, kind of give us a heads up on what's going on with them.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll save that talk for another video. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier that comes out next week, or
Yeah, I think next week.
Next week, or I think March 19th it starts. So maybe we'll do some videos on those too.
That'll be fun.
That's it. Scarlet Witch is in the MCU. Depending on which way they go with her, she's gonna be an absolute powerhouse. I hope she is, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. We just gotta wait and see what the new movies are gonna be like.
Yeah. I hope I hope they start doing it with more characters going forward. There's a lot of people that were upset about the Hulk, which I get, because the Hulk is another one of those characters that's damn near unstoppable no matter what form he's in.
Yeah.
Thanos was absolutely strong. Did absolutely, he could have whooped the Hulk's ass just like that in comics, but the Hulk would have never, in my opinion, I don't think he would have ever done what he did in the movies, just kind of turn into a nerd and just kind of be not as violent the rest, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But who knows how that'll go in the future. And
exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. Thank you all for watching. I want to thank Gabby so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. She'll be with us in more videos in the future. And until next time, guys, take it easy. See ya.